With each new generation of Pokemon, there is a stretch of time where we know very little about the new generation or game that is being released. This leaves the door open for speculation or predictions of Pokemon or forms we might see. So let's talk about some Pokemon predictions that almost got it right. Hey everyone, Brandon here. So with us being in the middle of prediction season for Gen 9, I thought it would be fun to look back at some predictions from this past generation and see how close some people were to getting it right. Before we get started, I just wanted to quickly remind you that if we hit 500 downloads of Disney Emoji Blitz using my link in the description, I will be giving away a copy of Pokemon Legends Arceus. So make sure to hit that link in the description and download Disney Emoji Blitz now. So why don't we start with where Gen 8 began, Galar, and the first Pokemon that were announced for the region, the starters. Starter-based predictions are a tale as old as time. Going back to Gen 5 when the silhouettes for Snivy, Tepig, and Oshawott were released on the Japanese show Pokemon Sunday, and people tried to fill those silhouettes with low to moderate success. But 9 years later, once the starters for Galar were revealed, everyone and their mother hopped on trying to predict their evolutions. But the person who most definitely came the closest was Elisteva076. So let's take a look at his predictions. Starting us off is his prediction for Grookey's final evolution, which he named Groboom. Well, he got half the name right. Another thing he got right was the use of drums in this design. Though the drums are located in the chest and not behind its back, where it can pull them out. Pokemon logic, I guess. I actually like the drums being incorporated in the chest more, if I'm being honest. There are certain other design elements that are more subtle that match up with Rillaboom as well. Next up is Scorbunny's final evolution. And get this, he named it Raboot. He got the name right, of the middle stage. So close, yet so far. He did manage to nail the soccer or football theme of Cinderace, and even has the fireball that it kicks. They also both have the spiky fur around their neck and shoulders. Last for the Galar starters is Sobble's final evolution, which Elisteva named Spookleon. Can I just be the one to say that I love this so much more than what we ended up getting? It actually has a lot of the same themes as Inteleon, but done in a much better and cooler way. It has the gun that Inteleon has, but instead on its fingers. And it has the spy theme incorporated into its eyes with these kind of goggles, and in its coloration and pattern, all while keeping its more lizardy features rather than just making it a human body with a chameleon head. Man, I didn't realize I had such an issue with Inteleon until now. Well, you learn something new every day, I guess. Continuing with our Galar predictions, let's talk about one that was right on the money. Back in September of 2019, just 2 months before Pokemon Sword and Shield released, the Pokemon website had this strange glitch on it with this pixelated image, and when you clicked on it, it would send you to this page that seemed to show a new Pokemon on it. As we now know, this was of course a teaser for Sirfetch'd, but some predictions as to what this glitch was were, a little off the mark. But someone that had a very solid prediction was Goompy. As you can see here from this post, Goompy was almost exactly right about the design and was dead on with the name. Quite literally verbatim. I actually remember seeing this post back in the day, and thanks to this video, I learned that it was Goompy who made it, who I have actually worked with in the past. Next up, let's talk about Galarian Slowpoke. Galarian Slowpoke was announced and even available to catch the day the Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra DLCs were announced. But you couldn't evolve it until those DLCs were available. So we got a brief glimpse at parts of Galarian Slowbro and Slowking, but not the full designs. While it was probably a little bit easier to guess than other entries in this video, I thought these designs by Dudrake95 were worth discussing because they were very close to how the final designs turned out. I really like the idea of Galarian Slowbro having its arm engulfed in the shell, rather than just having a little Mega Man blaster. Also, I really like how the eyes on Galarian Slowking are more spread out than the actual design. I always thought Galarian Slowking's eyes looked so weird. Am I alone in that? Continuing on, back last year before we really had any details about Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, or Legends Arceus, there was a lot of speculation about possible new forms for Palkia and Dialga coming to BDSP or Legends Arceus. Which is a reasonable assumption given that we got origin forms for Groudon and Kyogre in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and the fact that Giratina has had an origin form since Gen 4 with Palkia and Dialga just kinda being left in the dust. While we didn't get any new forms in BDSP, ESP, or really anything that new at all for that matter, we did end up getting origin forms for Palkia and Dialga in Legends Arceus. While no one could have predicted a centaur with no arms and Arceus trying to swallow a battery and turning blue from lack of oxygen, there were some very interesting concepts that came close, or at least got the idea of origin forms for these two right. This one is more of a, they got the general idea rather than specific design elements. First up are these two forms by Fakemon. They tried to go the whole Giratina origin form direction and removed their legs. But funnily enough, Palkia's origin form actually adds legs. So next up are these forms by the Arcana region, which I've actually talked about on the channel before. But gosh darn it, I'm doing it again because they are so cool! Rather than going a more Giratina approach, they leaned into making them more dinosaur-like, with Dialga having a more Ceratopsian inspiration and Palkia being more Pterosaurian. I'm starting to realize this video is slowly turning into me wishing these examples are what we actually got. But continuing in our Legends Arceus discussion, we have yet another example where it wasn't the exact idea, but the general concept that an artist almost got right. Well, actually several artists, but I wanted to talk about a specific one that ignited this idea in the community. Alright, enough vagueness. What I am talking about is the starter forms. Way back last year, just 2 weeks after Legends Arceus was announced, the artist Fakemon put forth the idea that the starters for the game would be getting new forms for their final evolutions. This was back when we had barely any info about the game, so the fact that he got it right is pretty astonishing. Though he theorized they would be completely new final evolutions, the concept for new forms for the final stages started with him, at least to my knowledge. But this concept became wildly popular in the Fakemon community, to the point that I didn't really see much else aside from starter forms for like a month. Alright, back to straight up designs that almost got it right. Back in February of 2021, the day before Legends Arceus came out, pictures began to surface of gameplay and even new Pokémon for the game. Some of the new Pokémon were more visible, like Noble Cleavor, but there were a few that were just silhouettes, which ended up being the Ride Pokémon. This silhouette in particular caught the eye of artist supergroup Elite 4, in which they predicted this: Hisuian Weavile. I have actually discussed this on the channel before as well, but hot dang were they close. All the elements of Sneasler are there, but just presented in different ways. Even down to the yellow jewel on the chest, which regular Weavile doesn't have. Lastly, let's talk about a teaser that took the Fakemon community by storm. The rare footage of the Hisui region discovered teaser. In this teaser, the person filming described a Pokemon with white fur on its head and around its neck, with a red-tipped tail and round yellow eyes. Many people managed to discern that this was Zorua, and so it was off to the races with predictions, with a lot being in the general ballpark. But the one that I believe got closest was this design by Sarah Joba-san, who even managed to get the wispiness of Hisuian Zorua and Zoroark's fur. Stellar work on their part. And those are some predictions that were almost correct. This is a little bit of a different kind of video for this channel, so make sure to let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to help support this channel and to keep up to date with future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and with that, I will see you guys next time.